10 seconds, guys, 10 seconds. Stand by, stand by.
You know, we've busted a lot of myths in this session around small businesses. There is still a desire, there always is a desire to make improvements. Security is hard, it's very hard to get right. And, you know, it's not about painting a rosy picture, it's about really kind of narrowing down and focusing on what is going to make a difference. Particularly now, you know, we know that a lot of organizations are struggling and they really want to make sure when it comes to security they are optimizing and then want to make sure that their resources are at their most effective as well. So there's two things we want to chat about here. First of all is solving complexity, and we also want to be talking about cybersecurity fatigue. So we've mentioned it a few times. How do we prevent getting to that burnout stage where everything just feels too much? So first of all, let's talk a little bit about complexity. Wolf, why is complexity not the greatest thing in the world when it comes to security?
Much like the best and the most, right? There's a little bit of a tug of war there going on. It's a little bit of a Chinese finger puzzle because you think just keep adding technology that'll solve problems. But those of us who've been in the midst of lots of technology, let me give you an example. There was a time where we were facing an outage. I was working in a financial services firm. This was during the stock market open time, so every minute counted. So I had all my guys, I'm like, go quick, figure it out. Security guy comes back, goes, clearly a denial of service. It's got to be a denial of service. I'm like, all right. That kind of makes sense with your data. Networking guy goes, well, wait a minute. We think the problem is on the edge because we're not seeing very many packets. The compute guy's like, no, the problem is clearly on our servers because the CPU is spiking right now. And our storage guy's like, wait a minute. You guys are all wrong. I see the issue. It's IOPS off of, and I'm like, wait a minute. And the entire outage got stretched out just trying to get everyone on the same page with all these consoles and all these data points. Yeah, this is great data because for so long we really knew in our heart of hearts that complexity caused extended outages, but didn't really have a good insight as to where that point was. So this is a great chart, exemplifying as I'm looking here because, if you've got a significant amount, tens of vendors, we're talking 4 times the outage, right? 17 hours or more.
Yeah, absolutely. So this chart is in the SMB reports, again, which you can get at cisco.com/go/SMB report. This is taken from the same survey data. So it seems incredible that, the more security vendors that you are using, it seems to lend itself to higher costs when it comes to a loss of business hours and downtime. And now there are a number of factors behind this, I'm sure, but it just kind of seems that the more things we throw at our organizations, the lesser effective they seem to be. So I wanted to ask you, Wolf, how do we kind of get around this sort of buffet of vendors, and what is really the right approach that our audience should be taking?
Yeah, I would put it this way. We've got our attack surface, right? The attack landscape, as people say, that we've spent a lot of time thinking about. The opposite side of that is we have our control surface, right? What is the amount of technology and cognitive load that we're demanding from our security folks to address these threats? And I don't know that we know the magic number yet. But much like, people can only remember 7 things, people can only have 150 relationships, much like that number, there is a definite cognitive maximum for an individual and for a team. And we need to be very careful that while we're addressing the threats and adding technology, that we're looking for that number and balancing it.
Perfect. Masha, do you have any tips on how to keep things simple?
Yeah. This is not going to be revolutionary. It's going to be make sure you got your basics down, right? Your patching, your asset management, know what data stored where, get your phishing email gateway sorted out, and it's not sexy. It doesn't have the words blockchain, AI, ML, single pane of glass, none of that. And that's great, right? I actually think we've done a disservice. We've confused the security industry by creating new marketing buzzwords, and it's blocked us from understanding that the basics and excellence in the basics is the thing that matters most. You can build on top of a solid foundation, but if you start adding tons of vendors and tools without having sorted out the basement of your house, you're not really going to have done yourselves any favors. And I highly recommend leveraging the Verizon Data Breach Report to help you focus your attention and your time. If you want to know what you need to be tackling, that is an enormous data set around the breaches per your industry, by attacker, by type, and that would be a great way for you to understand which investments should be your top priorities. Similarly, this report and the stats that you showed earlier around the attacks for your particular company size are a great way to start understanding what you should be focusing on as a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. We have actually had a question come in from Duncan on LinkedIn, who says, with so many security products arriving on the market every few hours, how do you know what is actually going to be effective, and how do you kind of sort out the good ones from the bad ones? I don't know if you have any response to that now.
I would be really clear around what they're trying to achieve. And I'd put those, if possible, through a POV. And then track the ROI on that. I feel like I just did a whole bunch of vendor bingo there. But I feel do track if the incidents that you have said that you wanted to reduce, are they actually getting caught, and do you have visibility, or is it just a lot of noise? Like that's the other thing, right? Visibility doesn't actually it's a really important first step, but you also need to have the opportunity to understand how and where to address it. And especially if you're an SMB, more visibility without the tools or the resources to address what you already know isn't going to help you. So figure out what's most critical for you to have visibility into, and then also allocate the resources to fix the things you find that you have visibility on before you just have a lot of noise.
Great. I just want to say thank you so much for, to our wonderful people, Wolf and Masha, for joining me. Thank you to you as well for watching. You can download the report that we've been mentioning here, cisco.com/go/SMB report. Listen to the podcast as well. Lots more, you can take a journey back in time with us as we get in the DeLorean and we visit significant events from the past in security. So do check that out. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time for more chat about security. Thank you.
Stand by.